Now, the other thing on Twitter, we alluded to it a little bit ago. You and Emmanuel Acho have been back and forth in the last 24 hours, and it has been eye-opening even for something on Twitter with guys disagreeing about sports. I can't tell you how many people last night on my show were like, hey, are you going to talk about this tonight on your show? I said, I think I'll talk about it tomorrow with Doug Gottlieb. So this is I'm following this going, I can't believe what's going back and forth.
Well, I mean, like, look, I just thought, so I don't even know him. Like, I don't know him. I mean, he started working for Fox and his show's on when my radio show's on. So I don't know or have any previous to him coming at me on Twitter. I have no issue with Emmanuel Acho or his brother Sam Acho in regards to as human beings. Sam was on ESPN on First Take, and he did his top 5 quarterbacks. And his order was Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and Joe Burrow, which I proposed a couple of things. One, maybe you call the show Last Take. Not really sure. Last Take. And I'm sure it's in regards to this, and I believe this. If you don't have Pat Mahomes one of your 5 best quarterbacks in football, you probably shouldn't talk about football for a living or to friends or to strangers, right? And I mean, like, look, I have a couple friends that are general managers or director of player personnel, and they would absolutely positively scoff, laugh. And one of them has one of these players as their quarterback, and they're like, if you could trade, they would go like, yeah, I'd take Pat Mahomes, right? So, but this is all in regards to a take, right? Just a take. It's a bad take, and it's a really bad one because that's one of those. You're on ESPN, they send you an email in the morning, and then you send them a list back. And then they send you back like, are you sure you're missing Mahomes on this thing? Yeah, I'm sure. So you thought about it, rethought about it, and then said it on national TV, and then it's put on social media, and it lives forever. But Emmanuel just like went personal, said I'm a backup, and that made fun of the fact that we fill in for Dan or Colin or whatever, and then I'm a backup on TV, like, okay, or as a backup in sports, which, he just went super, super personal, which I find ironic because he was a backup in the NFL. And, he came up through Longhorn Network as all of us kind of come up from somewhere. I've had a TV show. I've done the Final Four. I'm pretty proud of what I've been able to, like, just surviving in our profession for 20 years. Like, I was a good, not incredible college basketball player, played a little bit professionally, made a career of it. Like, I don't really even know what you're talking trash about. Just that you're mad that I came at your brother's horrific take, and he clearly doesn't like something about me, and so he made it super personal. And so I just said that he's a D word, and he just exposed it for the whole world to see.
And that's the thing is that this was sports. Like, I remember when you came at me a few years ago and I said, I think Steph Curry's a little bit overrated. And I remember you tweeted, license to talk basketball revoked, right? And
yes.
You and I went back and forth. And look, here's where we are because we're talking about sports. Okay, this is not something that, hey, I think Doug Gottlieb's a bad husband. And here's reasons why I have. Like, I know all these. Doug Gottlieb's a bad dad. This is a sports take. This was strictly about sports. Hey, you know what? How dare you? This is nothing worse than
you had
said.
One. Wait. You had one. I came at you pretty. Was it Steph Curry? You had one. I want to say earlier this year where I was like, Jason, that's the worst take I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, it was Steph Curry. It was about how can you vote Steph Curry MVP this year when it's about the other players, them all taking a step up. I was on your show about it. We talked about it.
Right.
We talked about it.
Which right.
Yeah.
It's a sports debate, right? Like you go back and forth about sport. It's like, did you know Rob Parker blocked me?
I did hear that. Yes, the Matthew Stafford thing has been a big deal the last few days. Yeah,
right. Well, he blocked me because, but he's been on. We've co-hosted Dan Patrick before, where he's still dying on that Tom Brady's lucky hill. I'm like, and my take has always been the same. It's like, look, luck is a factor in anybody's success. There's no human being on earth that doesn't have at least a small to sizable percentage of luck. But the guy's been to 10 Super Bowls? 10? Won 7? Like, at some point you just go like, all right, that's like when Steph Curry was coming out of college, I thought he'd be Jeff Hornacek. I just did. I thought he was too slight, couldn't guard, he's not really a point. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't love him. I like Johnny Flynn better. I just did. Johnny Flynn, ball screen point guard. Now, look, and it's fair. Johnny Flynn played in the triangle in Minnesota, which is a disaster for how he played, right? And Johnny Flynn hurt his hip. He's got like a debilitating hip injury. But look, I was wrong. Like you're gonna have sports takes that are wrong, that come out wrong, that you don't like, that you will. And my take to Rob was like, Rob, it's okay to evolve on it. It's okay to go like, hey, I saw Matt Stafford and he choked a bunch. Or I didn't. I thought he was. What's he called him? He calls him Stat Padford.
Yeah, Stat Padford. Yeah,
yeah. So Stat Padford is what he called him. Like, look, at some point you go like, hey man, that guy he threw an incredible ball against Tampa, and he played really well down the stretch of the NFC Championship game, and he played really well down the stretch of the Super Bowl. Like, at some point you go like, hey man, I'd tip my cap to you. But Rob wants to die in the hill. That's okay. You're allowed to, but you can't block people on Twitter because they're calling you out. Because, all I'd ever say is like, somebody check on Rob Parker. And I couldn't find him on, it's like, why can't I find him on Twitter? And then I searched him out. I found him on Twitter. It's like, you're blocked. I was like, why am I blocked from Rob Parker? I like Rob Parker.
Yeah, it's hard, to do what we do for a living and to have the debates, you have to get to the point where, okay, it's a sports debate and it's not personal. And you can continue on and continue have a relationship. And that's why, what guys like Skip and Shannon do every day and everywhere. It's like, hey, you got to understand that when we're talking about this, I mean, nothing that's said is anything more than would be said on one of those shows. Oh, you shouldn't be able to talk sports anymore because with that take. We're talking about sports, and it's a big deal. But you can still make your disagreements and say, I can't. This is wrong, and I disagree with you, and I think you don't know what we're talking about. And you can still be friends with the other person at the end of the day. You can still move on. It'd be okay.
No, we're not gonna be friends. Rob and I can be friends. Rob's deal is like, he's like, why don't you tweet out when I have a good take? I was like, Rob, I can't follow you now. You block me. I don't know when you have a good take.
Oh boy!
I just know that the Tom Brady one and the Matt Stafford one, those are bad takes.
Oh man.